I took on a 61-year-old woman, and I had to make sure she wasn't going to drop dead on me, because she moved into the world of high performance sports, high performance special forces, Army Rangers, and it was going to be intense. So where we started out is over with a whey protein. Now, a whey protein here you see is basically, this is 20 grams of protein.
You mix this in water?
We mixed it in a drink. All right, and we used this because we needed to be able to get a fast-acting, fast-digesting protein after the workout, because your window to recover the muscle is within 2 hours of stimulus. All right, so a casein protein that everyone would know from milk and cottage cheese.
Okay.
No. It would be a slow-acting protein. Now,
You mean this is fast?
Fast.
And it's from whey.
This one is a combination of a blend and an isolate. So whey protein falls out in digestion in the stomach at different levels. This falls out in different levels. So I had to match up to exactly what the body would pull from, because what would happen to me in my program is I'd win the battle and lose the war. The war being I'd break her down, she'd never recover.
So you're breaking down the muscle when someone works out, but by giving this within 2 hours, it builds the muscle up.
It gives the body a chance to recover. Now remember, people out there my age are exposed right now to sarcopenia. So I knew I already owned sarcopenia. Now I'm going to beat her down in the ground. I had to overcome it. And what I did was, working with our medical people, I used a little bit of creatine. Creatine monohydrate is 3 amino acids, but creatine now has been studied almost as much as water. You have to have normal kidney function, liver function, but it's a substrate of the human body. And muscle has it. It represents energy, but it's a driver. And what they learned in research over 30 years ago was that a little bit, just 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, and it's a white powder. Basically, after the
Open it. Yeah. Okay.
After the workout, basically what they were able to do was show that you saw a weight gain, but what they found was it was muscle gain. Because muscle is 70% water, 30% protein, and they learned that it was doing it. Well, we used a
This keeps the water in the muscle.
No, this keeps the muscle in the body, and it will be a driver for the protein. So this is the big lineman that's going to open the holes, and this is the running back.
Okay, so within 2 hours after the workout, we have the protein whey powder, and then we have the creatine.
Right, but remember now, it was prescriptive, 0.3 grams per kilogram, and afterwards 0.1 gram per kilogram for a maintenance. Now keep in mind, this is not anything you experiment with.
Right.
Now this is what is known as branched chain amino acids. These are leucine, isoleucine, and valine. However, there's one in here that is an anabolic amino acid, leucine, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Now, evidence shows that this can really help somebody who is training before the workout. However, there's some science coming along that it may not be right for a viscerally fat person. But in our case, she was going to go through training the likes of which she'd never seen, had no comprehension. So we would take 1 scoop of this right before the workout. It's a tiny scoop. And then afterwards, for 6 weeks, we would do 1 little teaspoon, which is 5 grams, and then 20 grams. And we would only do this for 6 weeks, because once I got her and the DEXA scan started to show me where we were, I could back off. To hedge my bet, I went to the research of cancer and AIDS. And years ago, Abbott Pharmaceutical approached me in the sports world about this product, Juven. It used to be called Muscle Armor, but it has collagen and zinc in it. And we have seen it work successfully to build muscle. And Abbott's products are approved by World Anti-Doping. So I knew from my prior experience from sports, and Mackie doing it for the last 20 years before he goes to bed, that I could tear off one of these and give it to her after the workout in here, and then before bedtime. And we know with wound care how important it is to seal the wound. I had back surgery in September of last year. They were amazed that a 67-year-old man healed his wound within 3 days. Okay? And guess what? It's team effort, okay?
Okay, so
all right,
Juven.
all right, now, we had to back this Juven up with we started with Knox gelatin. I learned from my mother years ago. My mother would take Knox gelatin and mix it into for her nails. But my mother was right. But the bone, the muscle, collagen, connective tissue is all the same. So we started to add in a form of collagen of 10 grams that we would also use and mix it in any time. And I learned this in my world of professional fighting, boxing, and in special forces, that when you are pounding a human being in sparring or in a combat situation, that there is tremendous breakdown of the muscle over and above what you can stop here. But the connective tissue is what takes the hit. Well, this collagen improves connective tissues. And when you piggyback it with vitamin C, the absorption rate significantly goes up. So do you see how one leads to the other? And so this was with this, and then this, and it all goes together.
All right.
Now the basis of this is mitochondrial function is critical. Mitochondria is in every cell in our muscles.
Powerhouse of the cell.
The power and the spark plug. And we know that CoQ10, either ubiquinol, that's the alcohol version, or the ubiquinone, improves mitochondrial function. My driving force behind the training was the mitochondria. If I didn't come in there and help them out, then I was going to see something that would not respond. I'd be sitting right back with that anabolic resistance. So we used a dose, 100 to 200 milligrams a day of ubiquinol. At night, in order to help, this is the multivitamin and mineral that I developed over 3 years with some researchers. It's a very bioactive one. It dissolves in 20 minutes. It's gel caps. It's called the Mackie Shellstone Renewal, and I developed it for my athletes.
What's that for?
It improves vitality, energy. It hits all the energy systems. Okay. Many people will use it as a multivitamin. Magnesium citrate. You might think about it in terms of helping with diarrhea. Mm-hmm. However, when you take 150 milligrams before bed, it recovers your muscles. We've seen this in pro sports. We measure magnesium status in the blood, magnesium RBC, red blood cell, in the red blood cell, or we use serum magnesium. I've looked at this for years. In 1999, I trained it out of me and became deficient. It takes a tremendous amount to train it out of your body because the body will go to the bones to pull it out.
Okay. So you have to do it before you go to bed?
We use it before we go to bed. All right.
All right.
And
you
then
did vitamin C already.
Well, vitamin C, you know about that. Let me go to vitamin D3.
Yes. That's really a precursor for a hormone.
It's called a seco hormone. Mm-hmm. And we studied how much she needed because you can do a lab test. You can do you can do a 25 OH vitamin D, which has a half-life of 14 days, versus a 125 that only has a half-life of about 14 hours. And we were able to determine exactly how much vitamin D she needed.
Because I just take one a day.
Yeah, but you can get the lab test. It's out there covered by your
D3,
insurance.
Right, okay.
But I will tell you, it's critical for over 300 processes in the body.
Yes. And it helps, if you have diabetes, it helps.
Right, and that's Walter Willis research at Harvard.
Okay.
All right, now, the interesting point is it supports muscle growth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, now.
All right, here we go.
Probiotic. This one is for an adult 55 older. The reason why we use this because the human biome, which is the digestive tract, is literally got about 2 pounds of flora in there. And this is critical. We now know that immune modulation, over 70%, is in the gut-associated lymphoid tissue and the mucosal-associated lymphoid tissue. We know the liver has immunity with the Kupffer cells and the brain with glial cells. Right, yeah. So we use the probiotic broad spectrum, but age-specific, because I wanted to make sure I had all the troops in the gut.
Yes, okay? Trillions of them. And then fish oil. Essential fatty acid, omega-3.
Yes, and most of the people are looking at this to reduce triglycerides, but I didn't have that problem. What I had to do, and we'll get to the diet later, was we had to get her out of a pro-inflammatory state.
Okay.
All right, and a pro-inflammatory state will come from a Western type diet, and a pro-inflammatory state will come from all the Mackie training. And we had to team it up with glucosamine chondroitin sulfate and fish oil. And later we went to a form of turmeric. This is a liposomal form of turmeric bound to a fat molecule. And for all those people taking turmeric out there, it's better to take it with a little bit of fat. So take it with a fatty.
Okay, curcumin turmeric. Yeah, I take that too for anti-inflammatory. It's anti-cancer too.
Well, but remember why I'm looking at it. I only look for problems that I have to overcome.
Okay.
And that's pro-inflammatory in nature.
Pull all these.
So this was all
all anti-inflammatory.
Yes, and
but
now
this is essential fatty acid.
That's
Everyone needs
omega-3s.
that,
But the key to this is it's now been shown to support muscle tissue.
Wow.
But if you stay current on the research like I do, I deal with it. So all of these things were not hit at one time. Everything was phased in over time. Everything was kept in a medical record for follow-up. We did medical screening after 6 weeks. We did it at 6 months, and we did it before she